working. On behalf of the Office of the Attorney General and the Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission, we want to thank you for joining us today. Really happy to see all these faces, folks that are on the ground working and fighting addiction firsthand. We are so glad to give you these dollars. If you don't mind, grab another cup of coffee, grab a bagel, a seat, and the attorney
as soon as I get all my equipment in place, we'll start. Is this any, I don't need this. Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you.
Media partners, can you guys still hear your microphones okay?
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Norton Healthcare Goodwill Opportunity Campus. We are so delighted to have you here. We like to have a lot of events in this space so that people get used to coming here. We don't want to be a mystery. We want everybody to feel like they know what's in here, to feel like it is for them, and to feel like they can get a lot of different needs met here at the Opportunity Center. So thank you all for coming. We're just delighted to host this. You know, I know we all love our Commonwealth, right? I know every person in here does. I certainly do. There's probably no state that's been impacted more by the scourge of addiction than Kentucky has. And there's probably hardly a family that hasn't been affected by that. One of their family members, themselves, their friends, their neighbors. And Kentucky has a great thing going for it. We have so much drug treatment available these days. I'm told that we're number one in the nation. What we don't have is a good system to help people after they exit drug treatment to build a new life. And as you all know, many times people come out to sort of a scorched earth environment. They may have burned their bridges. They may have never had any bridges to burn in the first place. Many, many times they have nobody to help them, no money, no ID documents, just the very basics that are needed to start to build a new life. And so that's what we at Goodwill have dedicated ourselves and our resources to doing, is trying to fill those gaps and pull together a lot of partners to join with us and provide a network of support so that it's a little bit easier for people who have so much hard work ahead of them to build that life that they really want, and who still could be at risk of slipping backward into addiction, right? Active addiction, and we don't want that to happen. We have many reasons in Kentucky to not want that to happen. These are people who could be in our workforce. These are people who could be taking care of their own children instead of seeing them in foster care or with a grandparent. These are people who could be buying their own homes and buying a variety of things that they need in their lives instead of being in the grip of addiction. So we all have a lot of rational interest in doing a better job to support people, but also just the human interest. The many people that we meet and get to know are just so inspiring. They really are. And we don't want to, we tell people that come in here that we believe every single person has value, has worth, and is worth the effort that we all put out to help them become a part of the community, which they so badly want to do. I've been with Goodwill for many years, partly in Kentucky and partly in other states. And I will tell you that I have never seen as strong a motivation on the part of anybody that my organizations have served as I do on the part of people who've been in addiction and are now in recovery. That just deserves all of us working together to make their path a little bit easier, right? We are delighted today to host the Attorney General's office, and we want to thank them and the Opioid Abatement Commission for the grant monies that are being made available to help with this, to ease that path for people. At Goodwill, we work hard to do things in partnerships because we don't have everything that people need, and we don't want them to have to run all over town and make cold calls and that sort of thing, especially when so many people lack confidence, they don't have a car, they don't have a computer, it's just daunting. So we routinely partner. You'll see the evidence of that in this Opportunity Center. For this grant, we'll be partnering, of course, with the Department of Corrections, Kentucky Department of Corrections, who we already know very well, with 7 counties, with Workwell Industries, and others. So our goal is going to be to offer a stronger network of support to give people the best possible chance, which they deserve, to build that new life that they want. So thank you all for being here, and we're just delighted to be one of the recipients of these grant monies. And with that, I will turn it over to Attorney General Russell Coleman, who all of you know has been such a force in Kentucky in helping to right these wrongs for people in difficult situations and help them to become productive members of our community. General Coleman.
Amy, thank you, and thank you to Goodwill. Thank you for all of your colleagues for hosting us. You learn very early on in these jobs, when you stand at the podium and you have announcements like this, that the people that do the work, the people that brought us to the podium, oftentimes are on the perimeter of the room. So I want to say thank you for your amazing team in hosting us. And Goodwill is one of 75 organizations that will be awarded nearly $20 million from the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission this week. And I'm grateful to everyone who applied. We had approximately 200 applications, just a tremendous amount of work in getting us to this point. According to last year's report, 1,984 Kentuckians, empty seats in chairs and kitchen tables, 1,984 of our neighbors lost their lives to drug-related death. Nearly 500 of those Kentuckians were right here in Jefferson County. Just pause on that for a second. So oftentimes we glance over statistics, we glance over numbers when someone like me is talking about them from a podium, but you think about almost 2,000 families across this Commonwealth. When I go to a county now, when I go to a county, maybe a community that's in a region that I'm not from in the Commonwealth, and Treasurer Metcalf can speak to this as well, you're always reminded by your team, maybe who the elected officials are and what the local media outlet is, maybe reminded what the local largest employer is. But friends, in this Commonwealth, when you go to a county now, one of the critical data points is what the overdose death rate was. How many were lost last year? That's a data point now when we visit communities in our Commonwealth. As dark as that is, we're here to talk about pushing back. We're here to talk about mitigating. We're here to talk about bringing light to this darkness. And I am in a room filled with those who are bringing light to the darkness. We also know that not all, and this will shock many, not all good ideas come from Frankfurt. I'll admit that, having been on the job a little over a year now. It's incredible to see so many good ideas in these applications, so much innovation, not parachuting in from Frankfurt or Washington, D.C., but organically growing up from your communities. These are your ideas, truly from the Purchase in the west to the mountains in the east and our most urban area here. This is great innovation bubbling up from some of the amazing leaders that are in this room. It is gratifying, it is humbling to see these applications and to award resources as your Attorney General. In particular, I'm proud that the Commission made it a point to reach into every region of our Commonwealth. We don't recognize flyover. There is no flyover in this Commonwealth. And this scourge recognizes no flyover. It has devastated from the flatlands of the river region in the west to our mountain counties, to this county right here. An example of that, Lifeline Recovery Services in Paducah, far west, to Hazard Community and Technical College, their education, workforce training, and recovery and reentry program geographically. And I'll keep emphasizing this because we are a huge state and we have to recognize that there is no flyover in terms of this drug scourge. All of these regions, though, all of these grant recipients, they share a common purpose, not just statutorily because the legislature has ordered us to do so. We share a common purpose. We are rowing together to save lives, to prevent this scourge, and to bring people back from the darkness. Since the creation of this commission, I want to be real clear here because it's significant, more than $85 million has been awarded to tackle the drug crisis in this Commonwealth, coming through this mechanism created by our legislature. We're building programs, we're building services that can continue helping Kentuckians on the road to recovery and to prevent Kentuckians from going down that path to begin with. Now, it's important, and if there's one takeaway from my brief moment with you here, other than gratitude, it's important to emphasize where this money comes from. This is not me with a large check presentation. This is not the Attorney General's money. This money passing through the commission is blood money. This is blood money. This is money clawed back from those that brought this crisis and brought this devastation to our Commonwealth. We must treat this money as stewards. That's an important notion, stewards. We have to care for the money, grow the money. Stewardship, for those of faith, brings with it a heavy obligation. But we must be stewards, and I couldn't be prouder of the men and women that have served on this commission, the time, the hours, the deliberation that they, and the director will recognize them individually, but I want them to know that I see the time. I see how every dollar is stretched and utilized. I see how the skeptical eye that's used in every dollar spent and treated as blood money. We're honoring the loss, 1,984. We're honoring each one of those lost Kentuckians by our stewardship of these resources. Earlier this year, we announced more resources. I stood on the banks of the Ohio River, stood in Covington, and announced a $110 million settlement with Kroger to bring more resources in. Kroger, who was part of the problem, now becoming part of the solution in funding so many of your great ideas. I'm grateful, and I'll end with this. I'm grateful to each member of the commission and the staff. I was a bit delayed coming in. I crossed paths with Debbie Raines, our newest member of the commission. Someone, if you've not heard Debbie's story, I encourage you to. Debbie is an example of a Romans 28 notion of taking something horrific, of you making good out of darkness. Her life, her family is an example of just what this commission is doing. We honor Zach. We honor Zachary. You honor him by serving on this commission, by every hour that you invest. So thank you, Debbie. Thank you to you and Mr. Now I'd like to introduce one of our superstars here, the commission's executive director, Chris Evans. He really is one of the all-stars in our office. I could go down the list of my colleagues that serve in the Attorney General's office. We have some absolute rock stars that serve you. Chris Evans is one of those. Previously, he went from running global operations from the Drug Enforcement Administration, the enforcement leg, to joining in and leading the fight in the prevention and treatment arena. I'm grateful to Chris. I'm grateful to Jesse and their entire team for bringing us to this point. They, along with you, are changing the trajectory of this Commonwealth. And as your Attorney General and as a dad of young kids that worry about this darkness every day, I just want to say thank you. God bless.
First of all, good morning. Thank you. And first of all, I'd like to thank Amy and Goodwill for the opportunity to be here with us today, for allowing us to take this moment to enjoy in your space and take this in, so thank you very much. I also want to make sure to thank the Attorney General for your commitment to the commission and your support of the commission, the work we do. It's recognized and it's real, and we appreciate it. It's an incredible honor to be here with you today. It's a long time coming to get here. We're appreciative, we're supportive, and it's nice to be in a space where we know that dollars will go from beyond a spreadsheet to action, and it will help change lives. We know the work that will be done here in this building, but we also know the work that will be done across the entire Commonwealth. And we are excited to see what will happen and excited for what you're going to bring to the Commonwealth. I will tell you, I am humbled to stand here before you today as part of the commission. It is a unique honor that we have serving the commission, but it's an even greater honor to be here to help support the work that you do. As the Attorney General mentioned the word stewards, that is the role that the commission takes. We view ourselves as stewards of these most precious funds. The commission and the staff have dedicated the past 2 months to reading, and rereading and reviewing applications, and we have incredible individuals who served on the commission. Their voices, their experiences, and their understanding of the need are invaluable as we work to invest these dollars wisely and, more importantly, with care. And with that, we have 4 of the commissioners here. They do a lot of this work that people don't see. You may catch them online, but I want to publicly acknowledge them here and ask if they'll stand just so we can thank them for the work that they do. Thank you all. I know how much time you put into this and the work inside the other things that you have to move this forward. You know, in total, 75 organizations will benefit from the latest round of funding. And most importantly, families across the Commonwealth will receive support. You know, it's one thing to read about a project and an application for a grant. It's another thing to be in this room and to shake hands and have conversations with recipients represented here who are going to take this and make sure that these dollars impact those across the Commonwealth. Today, on behalf of the Commission, we're honored to be able to play a role in supporting your organizations. We look forward to the continued success the organizations have. We look forward to seeing the lives that you change and the lives that you save. On behalf of the Commission, thank you very much.
If members of the media have any questions, we're happy to entertain them for the next minute or two.
What was the process to determine who gets the grant?
Chris, you want to join us here? Let me tee this up by saying, in my brief remarks, countless hours with a focus on prevention and treatment. Those are the 2 pillars of their focus. Their raison d'etre, that was the lens by which they reviewed these, and countless hours. I can say as someone who wasn't in the room in the subcommittee meetings, there were 200, important takeaway, 75 organizations received funding, 200 applications. And what I love about the nature of this process is our door is open. Our team is open. This is not a smoky backroom process. There is an ongoing collaboration with anyone who is seeking these resources. There are multiple phone calls, meetings, any organization, and I want to emphasize this across the Commonwealth, urban, rural, that has a good idea. And there are entities I'm speaking to now that weren't successful. Come to us, come to Chris. There should be a dialogue. Let's refine, bless you, let's refine that idea. Let's hone that to make sure it's as effective as possible, that it's not duplicative, that what you're seeking to do isn't covered by another process, that there aren't resources. And sometimes what we found is we've served as a clearinghouse for providing resources and information for organizations that were seeking a grant that ultimately were able to get some help elsewhere because there are so many silos. Shockingly, there are so many silos, not within Frankfurt, but also Washington, D.C. Our office is one of zealous collaboration. That's what this process is. That's the culture of the office in which Chris serves, zealous collaboration. That's what you all do. I'm looking at, talk about zealous collaboration, Volunteers of America, looking at the way they tear down silos geographically. This is some of the most creative stuff in public policy that we're seeing here in this space. So I don't want to get too far afield. Director.
In summary, the Attorney General covered it. To understand, it is a process where more than 200 applications came in, had to be reviewed by staff, taken to subcommittees amongst the commission, reviewed upon by the subcommittees, discussed, understanding what the realities are in terms of also the funding we have available, and then putting all of that into a conversation to be able to go through and identify how can we best support the needs throughout the Commonwealth. So again, it's that process of taking the more than 200 applications through multiple reviews, multiple conversations, dialogue, and also committee meetings to make sure that that is public, that is clear, and people have an understanding of the way the commissions move forward.
Thank you for the question. WLKY, HAS, anyone else?
Was there talk about like a number of people that this is designed to help? Is it, so you can get like a per dollar figure, a number of people help?
I would just say this, we look at these as dollars to support families across the Commonwealth, but we don't put a number on lives and what this looks like. What the commission looks at is to be the best steward of the dollars and find the best solutions that come to the commission to help across the Commonwealth. And that's really the value we put into this, is really trying to make sure that we are able to best support efforts across the Commonwealth. So it's not a numbers game specifically, it is looking at how do we provide the best support.
Chris, will you speak to the approximating those that either didn't receive grants that applied or interested parties, good ideas? When will this process be open again, and how would you encourage them to engage beforehand with questions?
So one of the things that you should understand in terms to get to where we are right now, last year the commission sat down and recognized what they had seen from the round of grants before, evaluated those and said, how do we get better? What should we prioritize? What are the needs across the Commonwealth? And identified what those priorities should be. We then spoke about those through a number of forums. Through our symposium that was done online in the application process, we explained what it is that it was going to look like. We wanted to be clear for those in the Commonwealth that these are the things that we're looking for so that people understand what the commission is looking to fund. That will happen again this year. Over the summer, there will be meetings. If you follow us online or see what's going through, there will be meetings where the commission will discuss what it looks like for next year. So you could expect in terms of a similar time frame for the grants being issued and moving forward. But again, each time the commission will go through a process which is public to make sure that we make the best steps forward in supporting the Commonwealth.
Thank you very much. For the members of the commission, thank you for those who received those grant dollars. We look forward to seeing what you'll do with them. We're going to start with members of commission. We'll do a photo up here. And any other groups that want to stick around, we're happy to get a photo and email it to you and your team leader. Thank you, guys.